Thank you for joining us. From wherever you are, people still coming. We're going to continue. We are right there today. We are the first, almost like, I mean, for some of you, it's still what we call Shushan Purim, the third day of Purim. So the still energy is available. Probably if you are in LA, maybe you still have it uh, uh, spiritually, right? So just we put it out there that the energy is still there, energy of course miracles and complete become complete with some, because some of us are, not always showing up in everything we do, right? We half leg in, one leg out. Sometimes we in, sometimes we out. The energy of Purim can help us bring ourselves to be complete in what you're doing. So this week, actually, it's interesting that when we're reading about the reading here says Tzav. Tzav is a command. Tzav, the word Tzav is a command. So we get, you know, uh, um, from here we learn the idea of, religion, right? The idea of religion. People do things religiously without consciousness. People following a system without even asking a question. People just do like robots without even awakening their soul and bringing their consciousness into everything they do. So the beginning understanding here from Rav Asher, we're going to speak a little bit. It says that tzav, the word tzav, is a command or an order. It says this is idol worshiping. Tzav hu avodah zara. It's an idol worshiping. So he says if you do things religiously, it's as if you are idol worship. Now, what do you mean idol worship? We don't idolize things, right? It's because you do what they tell you to do, right? Now, all of us throughout life, we're doing what people tell us to do, right? Sometimes, sometimes it's voluntarily, sometimes involuntarily. People tell us what to do, right? I think you should do this. I think you should do that. I think you should be here, right? All the time. And majority of that is falling between a student and a teacher. That's why we're speaking about the idea that all the guruism, whoever carry himself as a guru in this world, all the rabbis or someone who project himself as more important than the people, eventually what do they do to themselves, right? They're creating idol worshiper, right? Because you do what I tell you to do. It's very important to understand that relationship needs to grow. It's not something that, yeah, sometimes if a teacher see that the students is falling very, very far, sometimes we'll put a stop, hey. But majority of the growth that's happening is that the student learn, right, from the experience with the teacher, not what, tell me what to do. A lot of people, always come to us and tell me what should I do, Benjamin? Should I do this? Should I do this? No, you can't do that because it's against all spiritual revelation. If you tell, and all of us are really offering advices for free to everyone. You should do this. You should be here. You should get this. You should buy this. You should definitely have that, right? Constantly. And what happened when people not really following what you ask them to do? You start getting upset, right? Because I tell you what to do and you don't do what I tell you to do, and now you have a mess, and now you this. I told you to do that, right? That idea, it's really blocking us, blocking our light, blocking really the revelation in this world. Because otherwise, the creator of this world could have come here and said, okay, I'm telling you what to do it, right? Yeah, he gave us the words, but not all of us are doing because it's not of the creator to command us to do something. It's to awaken us, to allow us to choose, to allow us to grow into it, to allow us to participate. But at the same level, right? It's because somebody command me to do something, like in the army. In the army, you have a commander, you have to do exactly what they tell you to do. Now, where in our life we coming to a level that we say, I have to do that. A lot of us uses the word have to. I have to have it. When? To what? You know? Most of us using the word have to on a certain level, but what we looking in Kabbalah is to awaken what we call I want to, not I have to. I desire, I crave, I yearn. It's a different than I have to. But a lot of people, they're afraid. Let's say, for example, anybody is afraid if they're not going to meditate today that the world will collapse, right? A lot of people are afraid what will happen to them in their life if they're not going to do this and that, right? Or if I'm not going to listen to the rabbi, to the teacher, to the guru, I'm afraid what will happen to me. So this is the idea of religion, that people still, staying connected that either to the Torah, Bible, all of that, because they're scared if they're not going to do it, what will happen? That's another idol worship. Because you're doing it because you don't want something to happen to you or to your family. That's why you do it. You don't do it because you want to connect. You don't do it because of a desire. You're not doing it because of any awakening. You're doing it robotically because that's what they told you, and you're afraid what will do to you. As kids, we all did because we were afraid to be in trouble. But at certain point, that cannot be the connection. That cannot be a child need to grow and choose. So when a person doesn't do or do because they're afraid what will happen to them, right? Or not happening if they're not going to do it. This is what we call idol worshiping, and this is this week to completely transform why we do what we do, anything, and specifically about the spiritual path, specifically about whatever path you call yourself spiritually. Some of you, are with us for years, some of you just starting, so it's really to take the time to say, what is my path? And why am I doing it? And why I'm not doing it? Right? That's another question we have to ask ourselves. But when it says the word avodah zara, idol worshipping, listen to this. Avodah zara is strange, is stranger, right? It's work. What is idol worshipping literally meaning? Avodah zara. Avodah zara is strange work, right? Meaning that your work doesn't really make you connected. Also it makes you strange, right? It makes you weird. It makes you disconnected. It's a work that is not connecting you and not plugging anybody with you. Empty actions, no meaning. That's what it is. And therefore, it's important to understand that you become stranger to yourself as well when you do things in an idol worshiping and you worship have you seen people when they I was just talking about it earlier with some either with you or somebody else, but have you ever went to see a soccer match like in England or in South America? This is cult. These are cult people, right? It's like a church. They're sitting there, they sing, right? Nothing, right? It's crazy how they do it. It's like you can't talk to them about any other team, any other player. They're possessed by that, right? So of course it's beautiful to see it, but in a way it's like everything else is strange, right? No, this thing for sure. No, they can't stand anything else. And therefore, spiritually, you cannot do that. Because spiritually, you're dealing with people. And people are bringing different faces of you. People triggering different parts of you. And when I'm just talking to these people, and I'm just talking to these people, I'm not, you're limiting how the light want to bring you in so many ways, so many levels of communication through uh, 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 um, different interactions. So what we want to achieve this week is the must. I have to. Benjamin says have to is religion. Have to is idol worshipping. No, it's not a have to because I'm afraid what will happen. It's not the thing that you do. It's the have to, that the way we do it, that's what makes us disconnected. I have to. I have to. First of all, ask yourself, when you wake up in the morning, do you feel a must or a have to connect to your soul? Or is that, yeah, I want to. You have to get connected to a have to, meaning it's a must. I can't be without it. I don't want to talk to anybody before I'm plugging into my soul. In many, many different ways, I need to achieve a level of a must, of a have to, from a different place. Like, for example, I know we all want the spiritual light of the Creator. Is it a must? Or it would be nice if I have a little bit more light. Everybody, talking to me, oh, well, a little bit more light, I will be happy. No, no, it has to be. I have to. I need it. Like a drug addict, right? A drug addict. You see them when they want the drug, they don't see anyone, anything anymore. They just seeing that they get the fix and that's it, right? Do we feel that desire to connect to our soul? It will be nice a little bit more. That's what we want to completely remove from our life, because it cannot be just another nice thing. This is the tzav. Tzav is a command. I want to achieve the positive aspect of that, which is an awakening, a tremendous desire to connect to your soul. I have to connect to my soul before I'm talking to people. It's like air for breathing, right? So if a person doesn't achieve that, eventually the negative side, your ego, will wash you over in 2 minutes, in a very, very much in the time that you not expected, easily will take it away from you. So this is the first point, that not because somebody told me, it's because I have to connect to my soul first. Then in the word of tzav, he's also using the word zrizut. Zrizut. So zrizut is quickness, alacrity, you can call it. He says that there is a need to awaken alacrity, quickness in your spiritual world, which means when you have, I'm going to take it a little bit slow, because we teach in Kabbalah to not make a rush decision. Pause, wait, don't make quick decisions, think through what we call restriction, delay your need to respond. Over here, it says you have to fast, much faster than that. So, of course, you have to understand, when it's about decision in the physical world, when it's about my or our reactivity, when we feel anger or reactive or any of that, over there, don't make decision under the cloud of darkness. Don't make decisions there. Pause, wait. How long you wait, it's gonna get the answer will come. When it comes down to spiritual work, you have to quickly jump into it. Why? And this is what Rav Ashlag is sharing. It's unbelievable. עיקר העבודה צריכה להיות בזריזות. The work has to be quicker. Why? כדי לקצר את הזמן בכל אופן אפשרי. What does it mean? When, let's say, for example, right now, in this moment right now, or the friends who are sitting here, the friends who are there, does anybody know about one thing in yourself that you need to change? Now, in this moment, like you don't have to search, right? It said, you know, anybody know, right? We know. And this was even one thing, something small that you know. It says, it says that אריכות זמני התיקון יקטינו ערך התיקון. This is mind blowing. Mind blowing. If you know there is something that you need to change and you're waiting and you're waiting, no problem. You wait more, no problem. But the value of that change will be almost close to nothing. As opposed to if you recognize what you need to change and you quickly do the work, quickly jump into fixing it or changing, right? וכל דבר רוחני משתבח ומתעלה בלקחו חלק יותר קטן מהזמן. So let's say you have a little issue that you need to change. Something small. It's not a big deal. If you quickly doing the work of transforming that, that small thing have a tremendous value to your life, as opposed to something big and heavy about your life that you need to change that takes you, you know, wow, and you prolonging and you waiting until it's going to be impossible to be around you, you know, then you're going to change it, right? But now people can bear me, people can handle me, right? I don't need to change that about me. I can still be with my ego a little bit longer until they're gonna catch me. I can still manipulate everybody still, and don't show, you know, a tikkun that I need to work on, and heads on. So let me explain it again. Let's say you have something so small that comes to you to change. If you quickly, zrizut, immediately, jumping into action about it, jumping into work on that, not waiting. I'm gonna let's see, maybe in Rosh Hashanah I'm gonna make that decision. Maybe in Elul, right? Maybe in this time or maybe in that time. No, even if it's quick, even if it's small, but quickly, it has revelation way more than a big thing that you're working on to change and take you longer. Is that clear, the ratio, right? You understand? So what the Kabbalists explain, that if I prolong it and I'm waiting and waiting, it's like anything else, you know, like when somebody is like you know, you have friends that you trying so hard to convince them to go somewhere, and eventually they take the juice out of you. It's like, I don't even want to go, right? You have those people in your life. Sometimes in relationship, usually it's the other person is always, you know, it's hard to carry him out. You know, once you get them out, well, we spoke about it. Once you take them out, you can't bring them in anymore, right? But to get them out of the house, you need like an army, right? And sometimes it's so hard, you know, for us to be like, you know, I don't want even to call him because it's going to take so much effort to get them to do that, right? And this is what we trying to express over here. The next thing is, so this is very important point that happening this week. And if you can find the smallest thing and jump on it, and really in a quicker way, you will see the benefit. You will see, you know, sometimes, how many times some of us sitting with the fears, sitting with fears, right? So, for example, if you're standing in front of a freezing cold water, right? You think about that image, right? Have you ever needed to go to a cold plunge, right? Stand in front of the cold plunge, ice bath, okay? Tell me how long you need to stand in front of it. You think you look at the water looking at you, you look in the water doesn't get warm. Nothing changed. You can sit there for an hour, right? And everybody's telling you, jump to the water, jump to the water. No, the fear that you started with, let's say you're standing there 10 minutes, not getting into the water because you're afraid, right? That fear doesn't change in 10 minutes. It just take away from the you jumping to the water and completely remove that fear. You broke the fear from its source. As opposed to you waiting for an hour, you find out that that fear still exists later. It's because of that idea. So this is the point that we're talking about. Now, in this week as well, we're reading, it's called Zot Torat HaOlam. In this reading, it's known to be that and we spoke to you about it last week. There's a lot of sacrifices going on, right? From last week until and this week and following one, you're going to hear about a lot of reading about a lot of sacrifice. Torah Olah is a sacrifice. But it says that we're not doing it anymore. We don't have the altar like in the desert or in the holy temple that we need to sacrifice animals and so forth. So it says this reading, when you read about it, it's as if you are connected to this type of sacrifice just by reading about it. So there's two questions going on here. One is, if we're not doing any more sacrifices, right? Why do we need to read about it? Like I said earlier. And second is, you sacrifice animal. Think about the logic, right? You sacrifice animal, not human, for humans' sins, right? That's what it is. When the people come and sacrifice an animal for human sins, that's what they used to be. So if a human is creating a sin, or if a human is doing a violation, spiritual violation, why animal? Why not sacrifice his money? Sacrifice, take away from him something, right? Sacrifice an animal, it will cleanse the negativity that humans are doing. That's what it used to be in the Holy Temple. Now, again, if you are an animal lover, you're probably going to be against reading about it, or Torah and this massacre of animals and the blood and all of it. Seems like a cult, right? What is the beauty of that? Again, without the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's this stays still. This wisdom, this information will really be sounds lunatic. First of all, every time a person is quote unquote committed a spiritual violation, we call it in the language of Kabbalah, it's a direct line. It's like when someone takes drugs, right? Someone takes drugs, they go high right away like a kite, yes? That in any other way, it will take them a long, long way to achieve a connection to that spiritual one. So we call it direct line. They directly got connected, but we know it's not secure. That's why when somebody's created negative violation, spiritual violation, is what we call it connected to a direct line, which is almost like when you try to, even right now, to look at any spotlight in your ceiling and try to look at it directly, even just a light, you're gonna be blind, right? It's immediate blindness. This reading of why we're reading this of the sacrifice is Torah Olah. Olah is also the word elevating, elevating. So it's called returning light, which means deflecting the light from within me and revealing light from within. That is the purpose of who we are. Because many people think they live their life, they think there's some God outside of themselves, or some mysterious people living in some other land or other world, and there is nothing outside of you. Nothing. Now you can take the time to think about it, but technically there's nothing outside of us. All the light that you need, all the source of light that you need, the essence of that is inside of you. That's why all the answers are inside of you. All the questions that you ever had, all desire that you ever had, it's already inside of you. The problem is we are trying to connect externally. We're trying to bring it outside of ourselves. chasing after things, chasing after dreams, chasing after people, after egos, all kind of stuff, and eventually take away from your life. So remember, every time you remember this understanding, right, is you elevating light from within you. You are connecting to the light inside of you. It's called returning light, like the light that goes from inside out. So that is the idea of this reading. But then why do we sacrifice animal? And this is the genius part of Kabbalah. We have in every human being all the other kingdoms, right? The mineral kingdom, the vegetation kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the medaber, which is the human kingdom. If a person fell and did a violation, committed a crime, he only did it because he went down to the level of animal. Most of the time is when we behave in an animalistic way, right? We don't care what's gonna happen to them, or we blame, or we accuse, or we all doing all kind of things that animal is doing. Therefore, the animal cleanses the behavior of human being as an animal. That is the concept over there. So to understand, as a result of that, imagine human being will be human being. All the animals, all the trees, all these worlds will be light right away. When we achieve being human being, we are not yet. You can look at that. Each one of us can check themselves, right? Am I behaving like a human being, or I'm behaving, like an animal, right? Or sometimes we just behave like a vegetable, right? Standing is like not doing nothing, seeing the problem, seeing things, doing nothing, right? We see chaos in the world. We see chaos and darkness in the world. We like vegetables, right? The tree doesn't do anything, right? He looks, but he doesn't do anything, just breathing, yeah, helping the environment, but do nothing. Forget about it when we are like a mineral, right? Lying down on and do nothing, right? That's already different. Anyway, I hope it's the word wrong. For me, it's a wrong word to use, hope, but uh, to awaken a desire to be human. All the kingdoms of the world will be supporting us and reveal everything will be turned into light. Last point, last point I want to share. Again, there's many, but I definitely want to keep it for the 30 minutes. It says that the one thing, the one thing you should be very much watching closely is the atzlut, laziness. Laziness. להישמר מאוד מעצלות. Watch yourself closely. Ask yourself, put for yourself an alarm, put yourself something, because it's the most difficult negative shell to break, laziness. And sometimes we're not lazy, but well, we decide to be lazy and we think, yeah, whenever I want to get up and do it, I'm going to do it. No, you should know that once you give it an inch, it takes a yard. It takes everything away from you. So the problem with laziness, that it's bring depression. And if we need to understand, that's his best friend. Once you've been lazy, again, specifically lazy in the spiritual work, in the spiritual world, you're lazy about things like that, slowly, it's very hard to remove what we call a depression from that person's life. Person just not going to be sad. Is going to be sad all the time. Therefore, when you see someone that do everything quickly, right? They're happy. Come on, let's go. Let's do it, right? Let's go over. Hey, let's bring the chairs. Right? All of a sudden, they're smiling. All of a sudden, there's energy, different energy comes up when they are quickly and going and doing the work. So it's important to remember that quickness in your spiritual work can promise you that you're going to achieve a true happiness. And we know true happiness is a connection to what we call the revelation of Mashiach, Messiah, which is the word Mashiach is the same word as Sameach, happiness. Okay? So many people think, Mashiach or Messiah, it's someone that will come. No. We as collective, as people, when we start to really do quickly the spiritual work, bringing ourselves to a complete happiness, that is the revelation of Mashiach. This bring that energy of happiness, true happiness, not happiness because someone took drug or is drunk. Okay, that's very. I got some good news today. To get happiness through your quickness in your spiritual work. So whatever you need to decide with yourself, whatever you need to sit with yourself and think clearly, there's a spiritual support, awakening. There's an opening in the cosmos right now for all of us to make a decisions, but quickly, and you will see the results. Have you jump quickly to do again? Please don't use it for what we call physical things, okay? But spiritual, quickly to jump and take that action. Send you love and thank you so much for showing. Yes.